Testing. Hi, everybody. I wasn't sure whether my mic was muted or not. I think it was right at the beginning. I didn't mute it, but hey, Linda, uh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I hear my cat. Hey, Cindy. Yeah, yeah, we need to talk, sister. Hey, Buffy. My God, it's all going down. Did that two o'clock announcement ever happen from the White House? I was listening to. Oh, great. Thank you, Cindy. Hi, Sylvia. I was listening to a show, The Two Taras, which is a really good show. Tara Devlin and Tara um, uh, Dublin. They're really good. And they said they were going to tell us, but they didn't yet. Oh, what was it, Lisa? Hey, Jasmine. Okay, spill the tea. What happened? Oh my God, that's so important. I really needed to know. Spacecom was moving to Alabama. Buffy, a few people here have said that the announcement was made, and that is that what it is, Leona? Spacecom is moving to Alabama? Oh my God. Oh, what does everybody think? Let's do a round. What do you think's going on with or our dear leader? I'll put this up. Dumpy moved Space Force to Huntsville, Alabama. Wow, that's earth shattering. That's so important to know. That answers everything. Did he make the announcement? Oh, Space Force. Yeah, Space Force. Uh, so, so is he out there? Did he make this announcement? How did he look? And was that even today? It's so hard to trust anything you see. So Space Force, sorry, not Spacecom, is moving to Alabama because Colorado has mail-in voting. So it's not about the National Guard moving there? So Space Force? Is it aliens to stop aliens somehow? What was the deal? He was gone longer than 3 days, just Buffy. He looks bloated. Hey, Artistic World. Hey, Leona. I have my ideas about what's going on with Dear Leader. I'm calling him Dear Leader because he's like, Boris Badenoff and Natasha, Boris and Natasha from Bullwinkle. Uh, Jasmine, the felon is incapacitated and they are hiding it from us. Don't forget my vision. I told you months ago what was going to happen to the felon. Okay, you guys, this is what I think is, and this is not just because I asked my guides, but they did confirm, but also because in my own experience with people who've been sick in my family, elderly and sick, who had heart conditions, it's deja vu because what happens is that there might be a heart attack or a stroke, then, they go to the hospital, they might be in ICU for a little while until they're stabilized, and then they're put into a unit and they're put on a catheter, which I think he's already on anyway, and they're fed IV fluids and they're given their medications that way, and the whole thing is to stabilize them, so they're not supposed to be moved from there. And what I think is that that he is in that state, because you just don't rebound from that. That takes a long time to rebound. I've seen people rebound from that, but it would be over a month or two. They'd have special nursing. They'd be really tended after. They would be in their bed for quite a while. Then you're slowly, um, you know, being able to walk, but not, maybe to the bathroom, not too far. It takes a while to get, well, I don't know if he's ever going to get off a catheter, but it's not it's not something where he can just kind of like be in the hospital for a couple days and then he's fine. And then so what I think is happening is that I think that the photograph we saw, when he was looking terrible in the car with the gray hat, is that he was maybe on his way to Walter Reuther, or maybe he's just been pulled, and then maybe today he was pulled out of the hospital to make an appearance, but he's going to go right back. And the thing is, yes, Linda, the best healthcare helps, but it still doesn't, the best healthcare is still a person going through that process where they have to convalesce from that, because it's such a dangerous, precarious state. And if they don't convalesce, it doesn't matter how good your health care is, you potentially could have another event. You could potentially die from that. So, I mean, you guys must, somebody out there must have experience too with somebody that or maybe you're a nurse, but you know what the process is. I've seen that process several times, and there was always a big like focus on, once they get out of the hospital, where to when they come home, to be taken care of and to be watched, and eventually they can get back on their feet again, but it takes time. So I'm thinking they're pulling him out of the hospital because they don't have a plan B. They're not ready yet to parade Vance around as much as maybe the techies want him to take over. I think Putin would rather have Vance. They're not ready yet. There's chaos going on in the White House, and they're covering up. He didn't just disappear and have no, on his calendar there were no events. Um, yeah. So, well, he's got makeup, Susie. But still doesn't matter. Anybody out there have a relative or knew somebody who went through that process? Remember what happened. It takes several months. And even if it's the case that they can, make him look better, it still doesn't mean that he can withstand the stresses of the presidency. Even if he plays golf every weekend, it's too stressful. You shouldn't be out of the hospital. I mean, that's just common sense. It's just how it works. It can't work any other way. The body doesn't work any other way. So I suspect that he's in a pretty bad way, whether it's been a stroke or heart attack. And I'll ask my guides, but it's like, we're in kind of Soviet Russia or something, uh, or North Korea, where they're gaslighting us because, God forbid that dear leader, that face of that movement is indisposed, is weak. They're showing the world too. But think about, why wasn't he out in our faces for the last several days? No, it was today that he came out. Um, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm not predicting death. I'm just saying that it takes time, especially if it's a heart condition, because your heart is, um, once your heart fails, and your everything fails. But it took time for your aunt too, I'm sure, to go through that process. It probably took several weeks to a month or something. She had to probably have, she wasn't up and running and doing the shopping probably as soon as she got home from the hospital. Um, and the thing about, it's not that people can't survive what he's going through, but all I'm trying to say is that he's too precarious right now to be able to withstand the stressors of what is expected of him, of traveling, getting on a plane with the pressure, the to deal with what's coming with the Epstein files, because there's going to be 10 witnesses who are testifying. Is it today or tomorrow, maybe, about what happened with Epstein? It's just, I mean, every president except for Trump in the first 4 years, ages. Why did they, during those 4 years, it puts so much stress. You're away from home, your own home. Your home is now the White House. And even if you're a terrible person like dear leader, it still doesn't mean that he's not under a great deal of pressure. He's in a huge amount of pressure. That's what I'm talking about. Why did they make so much fuss over Biden, who was fine, by the way, besides, the pancreatic cancer, or not pancreatic cancer, sorry, the uh, oh, why is it slipping my mind? The other cancer, prostate cancer. Uh, and he's, I think in a way, it is a blessing for him that he wasn't elected for oh God, I wish he was this second term, because it would have put too much stress on him. Now he looks great, and yes, with the right treatment and the right diet, and with being able to have mindfulness and relaxation, and just chilling or whatever. Yeah, you can definitely heal, but I don't think he's in a situation that is good for him, and I don't think he has people around him who care. He's just like Weekend at Bernie's, except he's alive. Oh, Lisa, yeah, I know. I didn't think he was dead. I had predicted that he doesn't have a long life, which I think is true. And also, I was listening to Andre, the astrologer, and his chart looks terrible for that. I just don't. My guides keep on telling me, that he's not long, but they told me he's still alive. Um, I'll ask though. I'll do some asking of the guides in a minute. And when I do this, when I ask my guides, I use my pendulum, but also I want to, I always say take whatever I say with a grain of salt, because I'm just a human and I'm doing my best to be clear. And I definitely have emotion here, about this horrible man who's caused us so much, and strife and pain. But and he's so obnoxious, of course. He's a malignant narcissist, of course he is. But and I do best when I'm kind of quiet and by myself, and just have can really hone in. So I'll still ask, but I'll just do the best I can. If I don't get a clear answer, then I apologize. Yeah, Jasmine, I agree with that, but I also think there are players that are trying to get him out here there, because he he's got allegedly has Alzheimer's, allegedly is ill. He can't. There's a point where he's probably not able to. I think other people are controlling his movements because they need him to be still be the face of the party. I don't know, like, when he sundowns, like how stubborn is he when he's like doesn't even know, allegedly, where he is. Oh, Jasmine, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll put that on because I get so insecure, and it's nice to put good things about yourself. Thank you so much. Um, Linda, um, I wonder if signing his name to documents that destroy America, but and hurt citizens is stressful and causing those cankles, the bruised hand. Well, it's not on top of his hand. I pretty much, it's IVs, guys, and injections. Also, yeah, rehydration, electrolytes. I just think there's nefarious stuff going on, and um, it's the way it's being handled. It's just unbelievably bad, because we're all speculating like this, and we don't have we can speculate and think all kinds of things, and go wildly uh, uh, out there with our guesses, because we didn't see him. He For a president not to have a public profile during Labor Day, it's very strange. So I'm going to ask my guides right now, uh, in this energy, in this space and time, what they see. The guides say he's very ill. His heart, it's more than just like congenital heart failure. It's um well, it is congenital heart failure, but it's also like his liver is his, oh my God. So I don't know if you've ever seen anybody in sepsis when their body just shuts down because I'm not saying he's there yet, but because, their kidneys and liver stop working and they become very toxic and everything, it's like systemic. So he was in danger. This is a guy's entertainment purposes only. I'm just a psychic. What do I know? But they're saying that he wasn't almost in sepsis. Um, yeah, Linda, I agree. I am accurate, but not 100%. I don't think any psychic really is 100% accurate. Um, and also, the factor of there's a lot of factors that come in, but I do the best I can to bring the information. And I look over what I've done in the past, and I ask him, can I what kind of thing can I do to make myself a better channel, a clearer channel to hear more clearly. So I'm always spiritually working on myself. I am a work in progress because I think that's what it takes to you know accurately hear the information. And then there's also other things like sometimes you just don't understand the context, or they're telling you something that you feel is immediate, but it's in the future. And angels' time is different than our time, and I'm communicating with my angels. Um, yeah, yeah, Linda. Does anybody, and I'd love any confirmation because I know, you guys, there's many of you out there that also work with your guides and you're working, even if you don't think you're working with your guides, if you're just listening to that little voice, that small voice of your intuition, that is your guides. And, thank you, Linda. But okay, so I'm going to carry on. Big grain of salt here. Entertainment purposes only. They're saying that he was close to it. And that picture of him, that terrible picture, or that picture where he looks so terrible and his eyes are watery, and I'm sure they dragged him out of a hospital bed, and then he went very quickly to another one. And they say that was Trump, dear leader, today, but they had to take him right back. And the problem too, they're showing me this, is when you have IVs, things like that. And even in the best of hospitals, there's a problem or potential of infection. How many people have you known, or you yourself, gone to the hospital and then come back with an infection that came from the hospital? I always say it probably takes people several weeks to recover from being in the hospital before they can really get into the healing of why they were in the hospital, because our hospitals are, because whatever the reason for that. But and so you have to attend to that. uh, and he's just too vulnerable to be in the public eye, to be moving about. This is very bad. But their guides are saying they are in desperation because oh my God, they just showed me this vision of a Trojan horse. Um, but you coming, the administration is a Trojan horse, but the horse has a face, right? You don't, the ploy is that, to fill that fake horse with a bunch of soldiers or whatever, and then they jump out and they take over the kingdom. But there's still a face to that apparatus. So Trump is the face to this Trojan horse, and they need the face because they're not ready to stand on their own. Yeah, yeah, Linda, but what are you going to do with a damaged heart? It's still a problem. He's still vulnerable. He could have the best healthcare in the world, but there's he can have all of that, but the heart, the arteries, the damage to the organs. It's, there's a point where all the best healthcare in the world, you know, death is gonna, you know, come. You can't. They can't. He's not a vampire. Well, maybe I think Stephen Miller might be a vampire, but he's not a vampire. Heart transplant. Interesting. Interesting. Oh wow. Yeah. So he's just he. It would have been better. I've thought this for a long time. If dear leader had not gotten his wish to stay out of jail and be president, he'd probably be a lot healthier because he'd probably be in a really cushy place. He wouldn't have the stress on him that he has now. I feel like behind the scenes, the stresses we don't see are, besides, I think, this encroaching Alzheimer's. It's just a grain of salt there, but the cognitive decline uh, is. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought here. Well, what we don't see, oh, I know what I was going to say, is that I think, like, Putin got him. I think Putin got him in there, and other people he owes, even though he's made so much money, all of that is owed. Like, he's a terrible business person, so he always ends up in debt. He always ends up like with his casinos. And he was probably, well, look at what just happened with Alabama, with Alaska, and being forced to fly out to Alaska to do that crazy thing with allegedly Putin. I think it was a body double, actually, but it never lost. It was symbolic to be so willing to roll out a red carpet and have our troops bend down and just to clap his hands. He's in a fawn mode with Putin. Do you know what that is? To fawn is when you're in a position, a subservient position. It's like somebody fawning to like the highest godfather, and the potential of Putin taking his money away, or throwing that compromise out, or whatever he's got. He's Here's Daddy Vlad, and here's dear leader. So that is extremely stressful because there are promises he probably made to Putin, allegedly, where he's not, like with Ukraine. And I'm sure Putin thought, oh, because Putin, or Pooty, I'll call him, I think he's crazy too. I think he's also going through, uh, I don't know. I think he's some kind of madness because he makes such poor decisions. Every decision he makes is destroying his own country, and he's losing that war. And he thought, I'll get America. That'll be my colony, and I'll siphon money from America, and I'll corrupt all these people, which he has done a lot of that. And but the way that Putin works, and I've read articles about it, and consider dear leader's just another oligarch. He His method is to own the oligarchs, so that, as he lends them money, he gives them power, but he also has compromise on them. They're in debt to him. He's very powerful. He is the ultimate godfather, and you know he can make you, he can break you. He owns you. So I believe that dear leader is owned by Putin and is terrified that he can't deliver to him. And so that meeting in Alaska was a show of dominance. So it was, like saying "f you" to the world, to us, to NATO, from Pooty. So there's a lot going on. A lot. There's a lot of stress on dear leader. So that can't be good for his health either. So let's see your comments. Sorry, I've just been going off on a thing. Linda, you get the most comments today. Posted. I see the regime in a frenzy. I do too. Stephen Miller over the weekend, cranking out the agenda as they can, fast as they can, using him as a prop. Exactly. 45 is a prop. That's how I see it too. Heart transplant patients need weeks of hospital rest. And that the thing is for him, um, he, I guess they're too worried, or he doesn't want to just even temporarily give Vance and in Fancy Pants. Let's call Vance Fancy Pants. And in. Uh, I guess I don't, honestly, have to ask my guides, but there, I mean, it's complex there because we all know that allegedly that Fancy Pants is, um, TL's. What's the name for TL? I guess on YouTube we have to have other names, but I think of TL as like a character from of his favorite trilogy, Lord of the Rings. He's one of those, like Saruman or something, who was an evil wizard who went to the dark side. And yeah, and he's also, another oligarch that Putin managed to suck in. But there's a lot of pressure and a lot of in the administration, like Linda said, a lot of uh, infighting, power struggles. I'm sure that the technocrats, and um, the old guard, who are oligarchs, or the old school oligarchs. They're like this. They're loggerheads, and Susie Wiles must be freaking out. How much control does she really have? What's going on with her? Um, so that's a good, maybe it wasn't a heart transplant, and I'll ask my guides, but I think it was definitely, I think, well, what my guides were showing me was the potential of sepsis, and his kidneys maybe, not working very well, and his liver not working very well, and just having a whole, um, or maybe he had many strokes, and they had to get him stabilized. And yes, he has the best care, so maybe he has been stabilized somewhat, but it's only, I mean, it's tenuous. You have to really be stabilized and get the body back into balance. There's time involved. Um, so Jasmine, you think it's a body double? I wonder, I wonder what that's like, getting a body double of. I guess if Pooty can do it, which he certainly has 3 or 4, I guess why not? I mean, I think that Dear Leader would want one. If Pooty has one, and Kim Im Unjil, I can never say his name. Sorry to North Korea for that. Kim Jong Un has one. I have to. I guess I should ask my guides because I've never really asked about a Buffy. Yeah, I just see him at a really precarious place. Where is he? If he could just have some time out and really be watched over, I don't think he'll ever be what he wants to be, because I don't, you can't really stop Alzheimer's right now, maybe one day in the future. I just think that, and look at, let's be honest, this guy, you look at his genetics. Well, his dad, did his dad have early Alzheimer's? Um, His brothers passed from, he was unfortunately had alcoholism, but I mean, it's not the best genetics. Dear leader thinks he has the best genetics, but like that's just not true. Look at his sons, especially Eric. Um, so he's. I think he's reaching. Oh, he did. Thank you, Elon. Elon, no, thank you, Jasmine, for giving us this comment by Elon Musk. Um, I just don't feel, like in drinking Diet Coke all of his life, or drinking it, like you should drink water or something. I mean, he drinks it. I don't think he probably even drinks water. It's Diet Coke itself is terrible. It's a toxin for the body, especially in that amount. And then eating McDonald's and Fish Delights and whatever. I mean, that's also not weighing good for a health. Um, so when did Musk, Jasmine? When did Musk say that dear leader has a body double? So Buffy says this Labor Day was different from past Labor Days. I've never seen or do not remember a Labor Day where there were national protests of a U.S. president ever. Yeah, and there were like 1,000 protests all over the nation. Um, so so let me ask a little bit more. We can get onto something else, but I guess this is the topic: is our president dead or alive? I guess that's a big discussion. Again, for anybody coming in late, oh, that's a great question. Or we can just talk about this. I'm fine with it. Um, did Putin's body double poison Trump? I'll ask the guys. I don't. It's possible. It's very possible. Yeah, body double. Thank you. Oh, they're giving me a mixed answer. The guides are giving me a mixed answer. What is that? Oh my God. I don't know. Please, huge grain of salt on this. But they're saying he was given a slow acting poison because they want him. Well, I don't think it would. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Did it really need to be poisoned to get him in this situation? I mean, he's been going in this direction for quite a while. But they say, yeah, there was something. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, the guides say they want Trump gone. They want Putin. Putin wants Vance because he thinks he'll get more help with Ukraine. Grain of salt there. Yeah, Steve, you're saying some of the summer psychics, and I have had that premonition. Wow. Well, thank you, Jasmine, for answering my question. Musk said that. About the body double for dear leader. Um, and Elon pretty much spews out the truth. Various moments. Yeah, then I would believe it. So Hope says, I really believe that that was not a body double. It worked with patients who were not transplant candidate or on a drug called, what is that? Marilanon, Marilanon. Let's see. Well, my guides say it was him too, so they're agreeing with you. Um, okay, okay. Now here's another question. It's all about the questions for me anyway. What I ask my guides, and some if I don't ask the right question, maybe I don't get the answer. Um, Steve says, but it was a body double that was because he didn't have the dragging of the leg. The sky was not in the right place. Are you saying dear leader, or the orange one, or Pootie? It's weird though. I mean, has anything else but that come out today? Buffy says Elon, hard to like him and hate him at the same time. He makes himself hateable. I think almost everybody hates him. Oh, Putin, yeah, I believe Putin. That was 100% body double. He was too like he too toned. It looked like in his this chest area, and he was too effusive. I guess people in the Russians laugh about his body double. Some of them anyway, or secretly, but they say that was the goofy Putin, and not the real Putin. It was. I truly believe that was a body double. Why would Putin put himself in danger? He's a war criminal. I mean, maybe he would never suspect um, dear leader of arresting him, but he is a criminal. If he comes into this country, then he could be arrested. And then he just went right into the limousine without his bodyguards. You don't do that if you're a leader. You just if you're I hate calling him a world leader, but if you're an important person like that, and no, they're really paranoid, and he's paranoid about getting COVID, and he's a germaphobe, and he had to sit next to, oh my God, he had to sit next to, dear leader who is stinky, allegedly. He had no scars or bruises on his hand. I have to look, after this show, I will. I think maybe it would have been, yeah, yeah. I think it could have been pre-recorded. I just think they're desperate so that the talking heads like at Fox and OAN can lather on about, oh, he's fine, and how terrible the Democrats are for saying that he might be dead, blah 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 blah. Um, I'll ask my guys. They put a lot of the guys say it was him, but they put a lot, dear leader, but they put a lot of makeup this time. Like they had it professionally done. There was a lot of stagecraft, and he immediately went back to the hospital, and they had to put him immediately on fluids, and it was against the doctor's orders or the doctor's wishes. They did not want him to leave. Um, so and so they are so like not just the orange one, but the whole administration has such contempt for our country. They don't care. Like this whole like there's not one honorable iota um in their in them to do this. It's like a spitting on us, like to have a whole country not sure whether their resident sorry, their president is alive or not. um they're like children. They're the decisions they're making, they don't care about this country at all. Yeah, I think so too. Karen, I think that's true. Yeah, and that's a narcissist for you, Buffy. That's exactly what they're like. Um, there was a lot of drama behind getting him to the podium. Otherwise, he would have been there the day before that. This is also staged. Also staged. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to go missing. This is a problem. It's just hitting me. We've all been gaslighted or gaslit so much in the past 9 months or however long that it's hard to know what's true, and that's what they do. That's what regimes like Putty and dear leader slash Stephen Miller do, is they make us question reality, and we don't trust our own intuition and our own uh, logic and our own common sense to see what the truth is. It's right in our face, right in our face. But because they're and this is what Putin did to, and still does to his people, to the Russian people. Though they're skeptical, and they see through a lot more than we see through, because we just want to believe. We want to believe the legacy media, even despite our skepticism. We want to like I don't know. We're not we rely too much on sources that are no longer in our best interest or even concerned about the truth. It's conditioning. We have to catch ourselves. What do you feel? What is your what? How do things resonate? Because that sometimes is the best way to know. And what is just clear common sense? I hope everyone today was totally ready and in step with their comments, so he spoke less. He still rambled on about Chicago, Baltimore, and how safe DC is now. So so crazy. Let's see what else. What do the guides want to talk about this more? A little bit more, they say. Yeah, because the guides say he is dying, and he's so close to death now. You can be close to death, and then something happens, and then maybe it's not going to be that time, but it will be another time, but it's very soon, they say here. They're showing me the Grim Reaper with a scythe. um, and oh, when I asked before I started the show, I said, "What do you want to tell the people today, guys?" They said that it's a quickening of events that will lead up to the culmination of everything that came before. And oh, let me get that. Sorry. Did I see this? Yes, I did. I have to ask the guides about that too. I actually haven't yet. But the guides want you to know we are seeing the very end. Oh, whoops. We are seeing the very end of this coup. That it's not going to have, it doesn't have the legs, so to speak, to carry on. And once dear leader is no longer, they say they keep on showing me that Pootie is like leaving the planet at the same time, making their transition to the other side, very close together. But it's really more when Pootie leaves, because he controls everything. Um, and there's going to be a period of confusion and shifting and uncertainty, just like there has been for the last 9 months. But um, democracy will triumph. We'll see it in our time. Democracy will triumph. Whew. So, oh, what was this? Yeah, I wondered about that. There were two. There was a white object and a black plastic bag. What the hell was that? Mm. And timing, they're saying timing is everything, because there might be like a better auspicious moment for dear leader to, make his transition that will make the forces of our democracy, of justice, whatever, it'll be perfect timing for us to be free of this coup. So, what was that bag? If I go silent, I'm just asking my guys. I should probably tell you the questions out loud. Um, so I asked, was it like medical stuff? And they're saying no. Was it not papers? Oh, they're saying it was stuff that um you know how when somebody goes to the hospital, you go home and you get you get them their favorite pajamas and their toothpaste and you get them their things that are familiar to them and their favorite pillow, and they say that's what they were throwing out to. And why did they throw it through the window? Because they were in a hurry, because he was about to leave to go to Walter Reuther, and they just wanted to make sure he had got those things. And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, like somebody couldn't go and follow the car, but they're saying they just like everybody's in a panic and like, oh, we've got to get this stuff together and just throw it out the window, give it to so and so, and he'll, like Nada or something, Walt Nada, and he'll take it, because they're really freaked out. They were really with that whatever was happening at that time. They were truly freaked out about it. They didn't know what to do, and not prepared. And who was giving the orders? Not Melania. Not one of the children. One of the aides. One of Dear Leader's aides. The one who's been was like taking care of him. Who was like not a nurse, but caretaker. Caretaker. Um. Okay, let's see. That's what they say. But grain of salt there. Yay, democracy lives. Yes, my guys, I keep on going back to that. I so much always pray that I'm hearing that, but they always tell me democracy is going to survive. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope we're close to the end. You think dear leader has pancreatic cancer? I didn't mean to laugh at that. I was laughing at Linda's comment here. Was it his soul? His soul long taken, long gone, long gone. Um, I think Pootie has his soul. Um, let's see. They're saying that he doesn't. They're not saying cancer, but they're saying pancreatic dis dysfunction. Yeah, that's what they're saying, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't. He's not my patient. Um, Buffy, that's so funny. Yeah, that's something we'd see every day. Yeah, something getting thrown out the window. And I heard one of the two Taras, they have a show. I mentioned them earlier. I was just listening to them before I came on. Uh, they were saying that it's a security breach. Those windows shouldn't be open. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be a thing. So many weirdnesses. They're saying not cancer, but some insufficiency, or not insufficient, some disruption, some dysfunction. But I don't know. You may be right. They're not seeing cancer there. But they have to see cancer. I can't believe that didn't throw trash out the windows. Um, oh, I just asked a question. Is this something Orange Blue can come back from, you know, let's face it. his conditions, just the way that he uses his body, his Zenpack or whatever he was taking for weight loss, that actually has some consequences, especially if you eat the way he eats. I have first dreams. Um, they say, no, he can't come back from this. It's too late. I'm not saying that he's dead today, but he's on like a hard decline. Oh, am I glitching? Hey, now, are we good? I'm back. I'm back. Cool. You should be able to hear me now. Okay. Awesome. I changed my settings and I disconnected my microphone and hallelujah. Thank you for hanging in there. Woohoo! Yay, yay. Um, health reading, that's what I was doing. So the guides say, don't expect a miraculous recovery, even though we're being gaslit to think that's going to happen, even if he's out and about or something. He does have a body double, they say. He's in very bad shape. And the angel of death is over him. Maybe it's because he has such good health care. Oh, it's bad again? Oh, no. Hello? Oh, am I back? Okay. It's towards the end of the show, so people didn't have to deal with it. And the people who watch the replay, good. Um, I see the angel of death over him, and his time has come. And then we have to, once he's left the planet, um, we deal with these others, right? So even yeah. So he's got the benefit of that, but he's still a human being. He's not he's thank um he's got his time is ticking. And is there anything else I want to tell us about the health of the situation? Because this is so important. It is. It's important enough to do a whole show on. He is. What's going to happen with Vance? How come nobody's answered? Hey, Gail. Departure lounge. Good, good, good. What's going to happen with Vance? Like nobody's asked that. Nobody wants to. He's like the evil villain in a silent film. Uh, you can see Vance or Fancy Pants in a cape, with a top hat and mustache, and just kind of twirling it. Um, I like that Buffy. Um, yeah, Vance is just like I can't wait, just waiting for dear leader to kick the bucket. So, but the problem for him, Fancy, I call Vance Fancy Pants, is that he's so I mean, he's even worse than Elon and uh, Felon in terms of likability. He's got like even less. It's hard to imagine, but no matter where he goes, and he just is. He's so. What's a good word for him? He's just so odious. So what's going to happen with that? Well, we still have a few minutes left. Let's see. Um, yes, Nightly Whiplash. Tell me to right. Exactly. Exactly. The Perils of Pauline. Um, he, ah, and he is, TL's puppet to bring in like this dystopian technocracy where, and the movie Soylent Green. Soylent Green is people. That's yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but like that would be like, um, that's exactly like their plot. I think I have to watch it. Um, Mediocre, slimy. Best tagline from today: "Clots and prayers." But yeah, I mean, how many of us have? You want to say like, "Oh yeah, I have compassion for this man," but it's not even that. It's just he's bought on such horrible misery. He's actually, directly linked to the um to the well, he bought Elon and like to the death of people and the starvation of people through his policies, and then making us the enemy of our Canada and our friends. But like in making your transition, everybody makes their transition. So, and this is just his time, we think. But look, even if he lives on, he's nurses out there, he's in a decline because whatever the best healthcare is for his his heart condition, he still I believe still has Alzheimer's. So he's got neurological dysfunction. To watch it, hope I have to go on YouTube and watch his speech. So, I keep on forgetting to even just a little bit of information about Fancy Pants, Snidely Whiplash. um, I think I'm wrong. I hear my guides, but I think I'm not allowing myself to hear the information because I keep on getting he won't be president, that he's not going to get his chance. But the logical part of me goes, well, how can that be? I have to accept that he very well might be, but then what I hear is that he won't be. So I just have to be honest with you about that. Hey, Celtic Seer. Well, hey, Celtic Seer, what do you get about Vance being president? Do you see him uh, oh, being sworn in? Yeah, Buffy, you're right. Peter is just as evil. He's so creepy. Talk about adrenochrome. That's probably where all that came from because they always project onto the Democrats and the progressives what they do. So obviously. Um, so Celtic Steer says there's an ongoing power grab between Vance and Miller. I get that too. I got that from my guides. I get when I asked about Miller, and I'll go past 4 a little bit, just 'cause we can flesh this out a little bit. I don't have time right now. Um, that Miller is control. You're saying he's controlled allegedly by demons. He's like, I looked at him recently, and I thought that's a goblin. That's who that is. Um, and he's an. I hear Vance and him are Fancy Pants and whatever. It doesn't matter. Are enemies. I mean, it doesn't matter whatever I call them, but I hear about Miller that he's going to fall from power, and so is Fancy Pants. And it's too, like, once the orange one ascends to or descends or whatever happens to him to the other world, this infighting, it's too weak. They're not going to be able to accomplish Project 2025 because I think they wanted the orange one to live to pass the midterms and then finalize their centralization of executive power, but it's too early. It's too early, and they're freaked out, really freaked out. I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I think I've seen that too. He should be up. They should bring him up to The Hague for war crimes or crimes against humanity. It's not war. I don't know if war crimes is the right term, but crimes against humanity. Oh yeah, I've been seeing that. Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel to lead a four-part series on the Antichrist. Well, he should know. He should know. Let's see what other comments are here. Um, yes, Linda. Guys, you still there? I technical difficulties. I'm back. I'm here. Can you see me? I'm here. I'm back. Hello. Hi again. I don't even want to talk about what happened. Oh my God, we're back. I was just, I got X'd out of this page, but thankfully the stream was continuing. Yay. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. Um, so let's see if there's anything else. Oh, we're talking about Fancy Pants Vance. I still don't, Celtic Sir, what do you get that he's going to be president? Do you see him taking the oath? Anybody? Hey, Pat? Because I always get no, but as I said before, that you see temporarily, what do you think is going to happen? Maybe that's what they're trying to show me. That's just a temporary thing. I just don't feel it's very powerful or strong enough to complete their the total coup. And in the meantime, I think Putin's gonna he's gonna be gone too. I always get that Putin and dear leader are very closely linked. When one goes, the other goes. Um, so Yes, exactly, exactly. Okay. So we'll end on that. You guys think I love you. You are wonderful. Oh, I need to tell you, remind you, I still do personal readings. My information is will be below in the description box once this goes on to replay. So if you want a reading, hit me up. Uh, I'll give you my information and everything. Oh yeah, 100%. It is awful. His interference is just. I feel like you can trace most of the evil in the world back to him. Um, Jasmine says, surprisingly, Jack Smith just made an appearance recently. Wonder if that's how Vance is outed. Oh, there's so much uncertainty right now. Bite your nails. No, don't bite your nails. You feel like biting your nails. Or you can bite your nails if you want. I'm nobody for telling you what to do and what not to do. So I'm glad. Yeah, Gail, I had a slight technical difficulty that took me off screen, but StreamYard continued. Yeah, I'm back. Even oh, the timeline. You said you're mad for choosing. Why? I mean, think about when was the timeline on this planet ever maybe briefly uneventful? But what would you rather, be World War II or World War One or Vietnam or the Spanish Inquisition or the Crusades or slave times of well, slavery still exists in the world, but the genocide of Africans, bringing them over as slaves, Civil War, which we're kind of back in. This is all the Civil War being played out. That's why the Republicans are putting back up the Civil War statues. They're bringing the South back. Yeah, because Jasmine says France and Europe are prepping for war. Well, we're in World War III. I think we've been in World War III for a long time since they installed their leader the first time. I think that was an act of war and an attempt to overthrow our government, and they did their best, and they lost uh, their grip for a while, but now they're back. I think it just was playing out very like in a cyber way here. But yeah, Putin is like behind, NATO countries and property. And the thing is, don't Putin is weak. The Ukrainians are crushing Putin, crushing Putin. He doesn't have very much of an army left. He doesn't have very much of an economy left. His people are rebelling against him. Moscow is, being attacked. I'm not worried about Putin. He's not like he likes to. He's a paper tiger. He's the poster dictator for paper tigers. He likes to scare people and like he's not powerful. It's so corrupt there too that even his nukes are probably corrupted. I mean, you Ukraine and if we talk about Ukraine, we also talk about NATO and very much it's a coalition are beating the crap out of Putin. And meanwhile, they had that major earthquake, that like I think destroyed their nuclear subs over in that area. Is it Callistica or wherever that was? So, I really highly recommend Jason J. Smart if you want to listen to uh, like an alternative view of what's really going on there. He's brilliant. Love that guy, but he talks about how it isn't propaganda. I believe he's telling the truth. Hootie is not doing very well, and he doesn't have long. And I think he'll be if he doesn't make his transition. naturally, I think there's a lot of people that, don't, especially now in his weakened state, that, wait in line to oust him. And we'll see what happens there. But I'm not scared of Putin now. He's destroyed himself. He's done the most to destroy his own country, and it's irretrievable. Oh, Black Crystal Dice, you watch him too? Yeah, like when you watch him, you go like, okay, we're just, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, he really does have interesting information. Oh yeah, Linda, Ursula, uh, is it van der Leyen? I was trying to remember her name. The president of the EU, the Russians allegedly tried to interfere with her plane, the navigation equipment, but they actually landed the plane safely by using paper maps. That's what I heard. Which I was like, yes, they didn't get her. So I'm not scared of Pootie. I think he's going to meet his demise very soon. And my hope and what my guides show me is that the Russian resistance is going to take over that country. And they are highly active, and they are, I'm sure, supported by NATO. And I see them wanting a Western style democracy. I don't see the oligarchs being in control anymore. Okay, you guys, I didn't realize my battery was, oh, maybe I should plug it in, but I probably should go soon, but I'm not going to let this thing shut down. See, where's my battery? There we go. I'm hooked up. I didn't even know that was going on. I probably have a poltergeist or two around me at the moment. Maybe it's just me being a disaster with technology. Um, Next spring, 2026, major changes for the better. China and Russia won't destabilize the West. I love that. Uh, I will end on this. Oh, Jasmine, before I go, I won't. I keep on breaking my promises, but you can contact me at my via email, sacred fire psychic readings at gmail.com. Sacred fire, all one word in small caps. Sacred fire psychic readings, plural, at gmail.com. Or you can text me at 734 773 9758, and we can set something up. Okay, this time I really mean it. You guys are amazing. I wish there was a way you could keep your conversation going, even if I ended the stream, because it's so interesting, and you're so informative. You're informative to me, and I thank you. Love you. I'll be back next week. You take care. Bye-bye. Bye.